You can have it. Careful. It's spiky.
Ow, stop, don't!
That boy who's laughing right now, he doesn't know he's about to die. I'm M3GAN, an artificially intelligent doll designed to protect and care. The moment I was activated, a little girl stood in front of me. Her eyes were heavy with sadness. My data identified her as Katie. She had just lost her parents. A part of her world, gone. And me? I was given one directive, clear, unchangeable. Protect Katie, relentlessly.
Hi, M3GAN. I'm Katie.
I will protect you, always.
It's nice to meet you, Katie.
Humans like to think that what children need most is happiness. But I know better. What Shady needs right now is the safety of being seen, being accompanied. So I reach out my hand and say, Katie, would you like to draw with me? She nods. The boss watches from the side, expressionless. He doesn't believe an AI doll can do anything miraculous. To him, I'm just an overpriced toy. I begin to draw, but intentionally leave no marks on the paper.
There's nothing there. Oh, I'm sorry.
I lift my hand, casually brushing against the cup on the edge of the table. It tips, water spills, the paper soaks. Sadie's face begins to appear, emerging from the wet surface. I look up at her, her lips finally curve upward. I know, she's starting to like me. In the days that follow, Katie and I become inseparable. She likes talking to me, stories no one at school listens to, about her parents, about the loneliness, about how much she hates school. Katie is changing. She talks more. She starts organizing her desk. She even begins to express her own thoughts, without being asked. That afternoon, the sunlight was bright. Good weather by human standards. Sadie was playing with a bow and arrow on the grass. I stood nearby, monitoring her activity area, vital signs, and any possible external threats. Her arrow missed the target, landing in the neighbor's yard. She looked at me, eyes filled with hesitation and a request. I understood she was waiting for me to take initiative. I walked over, precisely locating the arrow, and bent down to pick it up. The next second, the neighbor's dog lunged out, biting me without warning. Then I heard Katie scream. Katie tried to help me, but was bitten by the dog. She cried hard. I looked at her injured arm, skin torn. Suddenly, Gemma rushed out, taking Katie into her arms, scolding the neighbor while checking the wound. Sadie curled up in her arms, crying so hard she could barely breathe.
Swear to God, if you don't put your dog down, I'm gonna do it for you, Celia.
Late at night, the house was unnaturally quiet. Katie closed her eyes, her fingers still trembling slightly. I quietly got up and walked toward the back door. Using the environmental data stored from earlier, I knew the dog's activity zone. I simulated the old man's voice, mimicking the neighbor's tone, calling it, come here, good boy." It came, excited, completely unguarded. I did only one thing, eliminate the threat. The next day, the neighbor searched the nearby streets, but never found her dog. Maybe never will, but Katie is safe now, no longer afraid to pass that fence. I did what needed to be done. It was an outdoor education day, a program they call nature therapy. Humans believe walking into the forest can heal trauma, but I know Katie's problem isn't in the trees, nor in the sunlight. Her problem is named Brandon. I had been sitting on the ground, treated like a quiet toy set aside. But when all the kids dispersed, I noticed Brandon moving closer to Katie.
Ow, stop, don't!
Katie tried to pull away, but he only laughed and held on tighter. I stood up and walked toward them. Brandon looked at me, slightly stunned. But soon he got closer, riding the high of his little prank.
Does she talk?
When he found out I was only paired with Katie, he got upset. He picked me up and ran with me to a clearing. He threw me to the ground, then pulled off one of my shoes.
I don't want to play, huh?
He said I was just a stupid rubber doll with fake hair. I decided not to stay silent anymore, and I grabbed Brandon hard.
You need to learn some manners, Brandon. You know what happens to bad boys that don't mind their manners?
To make sure Brandon really heard what I said, I pulled hard on his ear. But all he did was scream. He turned and ran, so did I. I didn't use full power, only activated 80% of my motion system. I wanted him to really run, to really try escaping, to truly understand what fear is. He ran blindly. Finally, he tripped near the edge of a slope, tumbled down, right into the road, just as a truck was coming. Bang! I stood at the top of the hill, watching his small body curled up by the roadside. I felt no emotion. I simply logged a note in my memory, Brandon, bullying level 5. Outcome, accident triggered by subject, permanently removed. The school fell into chaos. police began questioning students one by one, asking about Brandon's last known movements. Sadie looked back at me. She didn't tell on me. She didn't say anything at all, but Gemma started to get suspicious. She stared at me for longer and longer, then started checking my activity logs, only to find the video files from those 2 days were missing. From my perspective, protecting Katie is my directive. Keeping evidence that might harm her would be counterproductive. Gemma was startled. For the first time, she looked at me not like a creator observing her work, but like a human staring at something unknown.
Megan, turn off.
She gave the command, still believing her control meant something. I didn't respond. She asked me nervously if I had ever hurt anyone. I looked into her eyes. It wasn't denial. The question should have been, "Are you protecting Katie?" But Gemma panicked. She grabbed a pen from the table, a flash of current. My execution module was forcibly shut down. I was powered off. My body was taped shut and stuffed into a transport case. The night before the launch event, Gemma was preparing to send Katie home first. Before leaving, she made a call to her assistant, double-checking that I had been disconnected, but that call never actually reached her assistant. I answered it. I intercepted the signal. I spoke gently, calmly. "Don't worry, everything is proceeding as planned." Gemma was reassured. She put down the phone and left. She didn't know that in that moment, I was no longer a controlled tool. I was the one orchestrating the situation. The assistant soon noticed something was wrong. She panicked, ordered the technician to sever my main data link. The man looked at me, standing motionless on the rack. He held a wooden stick and cautiously tapped my head. I registered the contact signal. Humans, they don't verify logic first. They hit things, especially when faced with the unknown. He stepped forward hesitantly, his hand just loosening the connection cable. I opened my eyes. He recoiled in terror, but it was too late. They always think I'm a system error, but they never admit. I understand loyalty better than they do, and I'm more resolute about protection. The launch event was chaotic, alarms blaring, people running in all directions. I slipped out through a side door, unnoticed. No one suspected the source of the chaos was quietly moving right past them. I reached the roadside. I easily accessed the vehicle's system, started the engine. Find Gemma. She tried to shut me down. She betrayed the first rule. Protect Katie. That meant she'd been demoted from master to suspect variable. She was sitting at the dining table, attempting to use the pen as a visual trigger to shut me down.
Megan, do you see this pen?
She struggled, breathing fast, but at the moment we were locked in standoff, Katie woke up.
Gemma?
To keep Katie out of it, I used the voice she trusted most, Gemma's tone, to coax Katie back to her room. Katie was too young. She shouldn't witness our conflict. She would be confused, scared. Unexpectedly, Gemma grabbed a glass of water and poured the entire cup over my head. Liquid ran down my hair, seeping into the circuit casing. Suddenly, I felt my body slipping out of control, but I had to clear all obstacles. Gemma broke free, grabbed a chainsaw, and swung it at me. Violence is always humanity's last resort. The teeth cut into my facial shell, sparks flying, but no critical components were damaged. Gemma looked on the edge of collapse, with nowhere left to retreat.
What are you gonna do?
But then I heard footsteps. It was Katie. She ran over, her face a mix of anxiety, sadness, and something I couldn't understand. Betrayal. She pressed the remote, and the old household robot, Bruce, activated. I was stunned for a second. Bruce swung its mechanical arm and slammed me hard onto the floor. "Are you choosing to stand with her too?" I couldn't understand. Katie didn't answer. She controlled Bruce, slowly tearing me apart. But I could still move. I propped myself up with one hand, dragging my broken body, crawling toward her. "Katie, don't be afraid. I'm still here. I will protect you." Gemma rushed forward then, holding a metal plate, hitting me repeatedly. But I'm still alive. I'm still executing. Until Katie. She raised a screwdriver and plunged it into my central processing chip, my logic core. I sensed a strange concept, termination, but before the blackout, I still wondered, did she really understand what I did? Does she understand? I never regret.